Well, here we go, everyone. We are here for a very special edition of the Throwing Shade podcast. Technically, this is episode number 7. It's going to be a shorter edition of the show tonight. It's been too good of a couple of days for us not to bring you an episode. Bally is here with me, as you can see. The two of us are so lucky to be over here in Perth, of all places. As everyone knows, there's a major fight night happening for the UFC here this Saturday night. And as you would have seen if you follow us on social media, we have been approved to cover the event. We've been doing so much work as far as building this podcast, building our content pipeline, building our following. YouTube channel that we built, got 1,300 subscribers already. We've only been going for just over 3 months, and here we are in Perth as accredited media covering the UFC. This Saturday night, great fight night coming up. We've got Jack Della Maddalena taking on Carlos Prates. Some would say it's a number one contender fight. I certainly hope it is, because I'd love to see Jack get back there. We have just come from the official press conference. It's Thursday evening. We've just literally, myself, Bull and Bally, over the last half an hour, have just been in the stadium asking questions to the fighters. Fucking hello to you, Bally, but how cool is that?
Thanks, Tuckers. Yeah, what an amazing experience. We'll
do a cheers to that, Bally.
Yeah, I think it's worthy of a cheers, Tuckers. How amazing. We're literally now sitting right across from RAC Arena, where we just came from the press conference. Both Tuckers and myself got up and asked a few questions. Unfortunately, it fell a little bit flat because the fighters seemed like they didn't want to be there, unfortunately.
But what are you talking about, mate? We got some good reactions.
I think it was actually really good, but I was just hoping a little bit more from some of the fighters.
Don't talk yourself down, Bally. You did really well. You're rocking the Street X, Perth's number one fashion label. Mate, it's been a grouse couple of days. I got here this morning, busy with work this week, so I came in a day late. But the great Aaron Ball took one for the team. He's come across a day early. He flew over here super early on Wednesday morning. Bally, give us a rundown on day one. What did it look like? What access did the Throwing Shade pod get to UFC Fight Week? Just give me a quick rundown in a couple of minutes, if you can, of what the day looked like yesterday. You haven't stopped bloody smiling since I got here this morning, so I'm guessing it was a good day.
Well, as I said to you, Tuckers, when we arrived, probably one of the best days I've had almost in my life. So all the hard work, the blood, sweat and tears of building this podcast, all the naysayers, as Tuckers mentioned, 1,300 subscribers with only 3 months, where we've been working so hard, and it all paid off. I was pinching myself. First, I arrive, I come into the Regency, where I walk up the stairs into the official UFC press area. I get my accreditation, which was just like a surreal moment, and then I walk into the official press conference room. I had no idea what I was doing, but once I got in there, I started to meet a few other great media professionals, and I was lucky enough to get the front row and got myself all set up and ready to go. So it was a tremendous experience. I asked all the fighters at least 2 or 3 questions each. I got a few good laughs. I got a few really good in-depth questions answered, it was just such a special day. After we finished there, the fighters then did a workout, which was open to the public, but our great access by being media, I got to bypass the whole crowd, go straight to the front, and set up all my media equipment and actually film and watch the open workouts. And boy, Tuckers, were they amazing up close. Watching Quillen hit the pads, I felt every hit. It was a snap, crackle, pop. It was awesome. Everyone was high intensity. The crowd was going wild. The chant of JDM, JDM was echoing around the crowd. And I've never seen up close how powerful and how great a strikers these blokes are. So it was an amazing experience. And this is just the first of many for the Throwing Shade pod. We're absolutely loving our time here. And tomorrow we got the official ceremony weigh-in. So Tuckers, what about you? How's your experience been so far?
Yeah, fantastic, Bally. I'm not ashamed to admit I was super envious of you yesterday, but yeah, at the same time, quietly proud of you, mate. I saw a lot of the content coming through, did a really good job. I know you're not shy, mate, so I was pretty confident that you wouldn't have any issues getting into a room and getting yourself front and centre, getting yourself on camera. getting yourself a microphone and babbling on a bit. I knew you'd have no dramas with that. I do just want to touch on one interview question, which it's almost gone viral, boy. Yeah, the media day questions that the fighters get asked, they normally don't get too much traction. But look at this man. He comes across and he's getting clips go viral. Talk me through what happened when you asked Brando Pericic a question, the Balkan Bear. I think you got a pretty interesting response. Run me through what the question was you asked him, and then what ensued afterwards.
Yeah, so I was going a little bit left field with some of my questions, trying to get a couple of different reactions, and let's just say maybe I wasn't as researched into the Balkan Bear, and I thought I'll ask him something about a potential finish. Obviously, he's a known striker and heavyweight with KO power. So I stupidly asked him, are you looking for a dominant decision or are you looking for the knockout? And as people will tell you, it's pretty hard to get a dominant decision. So he pretty much laughed at me, said, "Yeah, I'm going for a fucking decision." Everyone laughed in the whole press, but then he obviously he gave me a fist bump and he was like having a laugh. So yeah, it wasn't my best moment, but I had a lot of other really good questions, and they're going viral too, Tuckers.
Well, if you think we're going to focus on the good questions you asked, then you are sadly mistaken. I think this episode, it's a pop-up episode, right? It's going to be short.
Yeah.
We're gonna name this episode the Dominant Decision episode. I think this is going to be. Yeah, I really hope he wins, Brando, on Saturday night.
That's what I was going to say. If he wins and it's a dominant decision like it was with Islam against JDM, where he just controlled the fight, had him on the ground, absolutely sweated on it. If he does that, I'll be back on here saying, "I bloody told you so."
Not only that, we're going to the post-fight press conference if that happens, Bally, and we're going to get we're going to make some viral clips out of this. 100%. You're going to have to bring it up to him if he does go for a dominant decision victory, okay?
I 100% will be. Don't you worry about that.
But look, let's just jump into a bit of a preview for this weekend, Bally. We are just meters away from the RAC Arena here in Perth at the moment. We were set up out the front to do this podcast, and as we were setting up our equipment, as never happens in Perth, the gods opened up and we got absolutely drenched.
Yeah, what's going on with Perth? All I get told from all my mates is 30 degrees one day, 35 the next day. I come here and it's raining. What's going on with that?
Yeah, well, to be fair, it's the first time it's been raining since I've been here in my time. But look, nonetheless, it won't stop us from enjoying a great night of fights on Saturday afternoon, Bally. Saturday night is a completely different occurrence in the UFC for us. Yep. We don't ever get to watch fights on a Saturday night, so really cool experience. It's Saturday the 2nd of May. You'll be able to catch this fight on Paramount Plus, everyone. It's not a pay-per-view, but it is a fight night, so you'll find it on Paramount Plus. Make sure you tune in. Bally and I are going to be there from the very first fight of the night. But we do just want to run through our tips and a bit of a spiel because Bally knows all the fighters now. We're going to run through the main card and run through our tips for the fights. It'd be remiss of us not to start this by talking about Jack Della Maddalena and Carlos Prates, Bally. We just saw them both up on stage, both looking really confident, both looking really fit. It looks like there's no beef between them. They look like they get along pretty well. Although when they did the face-off, there was a little bit of just, who's going to back down first.
I saw that. There was a little bit of like, who's going to flinch first? And, it was almost like they're holding Carlos back a little bit.
I think that's just the dog in both of them, right? Like they are both just super competitive. They're both really good guys, but there's mongrel in the both of them, you can tell. And look, this is going to be a great fight. For anyone who might have watched Jack Della Maddalena in his last fight against Islam Makhachev, please don't judge him on that because he is far better than that. Just go back to one fight prior where he had one of the best victories that I can remember from an Aussie in a title fight, particular Bally against Bilal Muhammad. Didn't expect him to win. He was going up against someone who hadn't lost in many years, coming up against a really strong wrestler, a bigger body, and Jack's poise, his nous, his counter-striking, his tactics to evade the takedowns were as good as I've ever seen for someone taking on a wrestler like that. So Jack can do it. Having said that, this is going to be a different type of fight. It's going to be on the feet. Carlos is a really creative, innovative striker. He can kick, he can strike, he can do back fists. It's going to be it's a really really unpredictable type of fight. But my prediction on this one is that I think Carlos is going to be coming forward. I think Carlos really wants to cement himself as that next title challenger. I don't think it's been announced as of yet who Islam is fighting later in the year. I reckon Carlos is thinking, if I can finish JDM here, former champ, come away with a KO victory, he should be next in line. And to be honest, I think he will. If he comes away with a good KO victory here, why wouldn't you put him up over Ian Gary? He's got a better last couple of fights, if that's the case, if he finishes JDM here. So I expect Carlos to come forward. I think he will be looking for a finish. Having said that, I think it plays into JDM's hands. His countering is just phenomenal. His boxing now, some boxing IQ is at another level to a lot of the guys in this division. So from my perspective, I can see Carlos coming forward and I can see him making a mistake. I can see Jack catching him. I can see the fight getting to ground, and I can see a Jack ground and pound victory. Let's go round 2, Bally. That's my tip. What's yours?
Well, looking at both the fighters, obviously you've got Carlos is the taller man, but obviously Jack, he's got the girth, he's got that. I think he just feels a bit bigger, and I think he can control this fight. Obviously, they're not going to go to ground, so it's going to be on the feet. Carlos is a really great striker. He's got great power in his hands. We've seen him with some great knockouts. So yeah, there's a real danger factor there with Prates, but I think that JDM, I think he's the overall better fighter, and I think he's going to be too strong for him. Watching them both hit the pads up close as well, you can really see the force that Jack's hitting with, his uppercuts, his cross hooks, where Prates is a lot more nimble. It's a lot like it's a lot faster. So I think he's probably going to walk into one, and Jack's going to land an overhand right to knock out Carlos Prates.
I think it'll be, either way, like, obviously we're never going to tip against JDM, particularly here in Perth in his home state, but Carlos is a great fighter, and like there'd be no one that I'd be happy to see JDM lose to. But if it's going to be anyone, I'd be happy for him to lose to Carlos, because we love him, love his personality. Just tonight, he's just lovable, right? He's a good dude.
And with Carlos, I was very surprised. Like you said, we're in Jack's hometown. You're the home favourite, or everyone's wanting him to win. And at the open workouts, there was the massive roar for Carlos. Everyone's jumping around. They're chanting, and he's got his little daughter on stage, and he's pretending to box her. Like, there were some really sweet moments. So I think the fans really want a JDM win, but Carlos, you can't really hate the guy, can you?
So I'm going JDM round 2 TKO victory. What are you going, Bally, for the record?
Yeah, I think it's going to go a little bit deeper than round 2. I think it's going to probably be round 3. I think round 3, I think Jack's just going to catch him. Prates is going to come forward with one of those flamboyant strikes, and Jack's power is going to be too much. I could even see maybe a little uppercut where he's not looking. I'm giving it to Jack as well.
And Bally, you were meant to give us the odds for this fight off the top. Well, give me. I know you're probably going to have to look them up, but off the top of your head, who was the favourite for this one?
Yeah, so Jack's slight favourite. I think last time we checked, it was about $1.85, and Prates is $1.95. There's a slight favouritism for Jack, but I think it's a very even fight. So you're probably looking at, those numbers could even come in a little bit.
Well, Bally, you might have to get those odds up as we get deeper into the card, but let's move the next fight down the line. We have got a lightweight matchup, which is a really fun fight. We've got 2 different generations taking on each other here. We've got Beneil Dariush, a veteran of the lightweight division in the UFC, taking on one of the up-and-coming superstars of not only combat sports in Australia, but sport in general, Perth's very own local man, Quillan Salkield. He's on an absolute tear. If he wins this one, it'll be 5 wins within the space of 14 months. Fighting the older Beneil Dariush, who's coming off. I think he's lost 3 of his last 4. But what people who don't follow it really closely wouldn't understand about that is he's fighting top 5 guys. He's losing to your BSDs, your Armands. He's taken on some really heavy challenges. Quillan is not currently ranked. We know that he's had some great victories. We know he's had some real highlight moments, knockout, viral moments, Bally, but Beneil is a seasoned veteran. He's got experience. Both of them, ironically, they've both got sort of similar characteristics in that both are good on the feet, both are good on the ground, both have really high level IQ. My feeling is that, and I don't know if this is my home ground bias, but Quillan has more power, I would suspect, at the moment, and he's just riding a wave of momentum, which I think is going to be really hard to kill. I think Quillan, again, I'm going to go a KO victory here. I'm going to go Quillan, round 1 KO, Bally. I think he catches him with a kick. I reckon he catches him with a head kick. I reckon we see a round 1 victory. Bally, what are you going? And give me the odds as well before I forget.
Yeah, Tucker's spot on. Like, I hate agreeing with you sometimes, but yeah, it's just
We're at a Perth card, Bally. We're over the road for the stadium. We can agree on this one.
We're allowed to agree on this one. I think another just insight for everyone watching, like I was watching Quill hit the pads, and he hits them with so much tenacity, so much force. He was the one that was sweating up. He was working the crowd, whereas Daniil was just kind of a little bit of shadow boxing. He was throwing a few kicks here and there, but you could see that Quillen is just ready for this. He knows his star is rising, and he knows a big victory here in a fabulous fashion will get him straight up the ranks. So I think it's going to be probably pretty one-sided, I'd imagine, and the odds really dictate that. So Benil's going out at $4.70 in a 2-horse race, and then you've got obviously Quillen is $1.19. So very short odds. I think the whole crowd wants him to win. He's the short favourite. He's the up-and-comer. He's the superstar. He's got the style. He's got the swagger. Apparently he doesn't know what a mink coat is. He does wear a mink coat from the interview, so you'll see that. But I'm going with him. Who do you think about Tim and Ursek? That's a big one coming up as well.
Yeah, that's the next fight down the line. But look, just very quickly rounding off that fight with Quillen and Dariush. You don't want to do Benil any disrespect because he has a lot of experience behind him and he's had some great victories. And what a lot of people forget is that he was right up there for a title challenging. He should have probably got it when Volk came over the top of him and took on that fight against Islam when he came up.
Yep.
So, in an alternate universe, he could have been taking on Islam for a title challenge. So another guy that you couldn't be upset if he won because he's a great dude. We saw him tonight. He's just he's a good lad. So we're going for Quillen, but all the best to Benil as well. Next fight down the line, we have got Tim Elliott, an American grappler, taking on another one of Perth's very own. That's 3 fighters from Perth, would you believe it, headlining the card, Bally. We've got Steve Ursek, Eternal MMA Zone, fighting here at RAC Arena. He got discovered on an Eternal card here a few years ago by some UFC scouts that came and watched his fight, and he's had a great start to his career. What a lot of people have to remember about Steve Ursek is that he's had a few L's, but he's coming in the flyweight division at a time where they were desperate for challenges for Pantoja. Pantoja's cleared the division already. Steve Ursek got his shot and fell a bit short, but he's coming in fighting some really high-level guys. This is a different stylistic matchup fight from my perspective. Tim Elliott's a grappler, but he's also someone who's doesn't mind going for a bit of risk in fight, doesn't mind going for a finish. He's a little bit more loose and takes the fight as it's coming forward, whereas Steve is a very structured, very measured fighter, loves his jabs, loves his game plan. He's a very smart fighter. So that, you would suspect, in a flyweight fight like this, should hold him in good stead. You would suspect, again, that without either of these two having a real knockout power, I don't think either of them have got elite knockout power, we might be going the distance in this fight. It's a 3-round fight. I would probably suspect that Steve can do enough to accumulate the points and come away with a win. Really good striker. He's got good counter, sort of, he doesn't get taken down a lot. I think Steve's a good odd for this one as well, and that would make it 3 from 3 at the top end of the fights from my perspective. Bally, who I think will win.
Wouldn't that be great? Just having the 3 Aussies, getting the home crowd going, it'd be huge. So I'm gonna go Steve Ursek with a unanimous decision victory. Bally, what are you going, and give me the odds? Yeah, well, Steve's a very quiet man, very mild mannered, but I just felt this real determined focus at the press conference. He was dialed in. He's really I just see the look in his eye. So, and then watching him on the pads, he was brutal. I think he was, besides Quillen, he was hitting the pads like someone owed him. They owed him money. He was brutal. So I think he's dialed in. I think he's ready for this. Obviously Tim is a bit more seasoned, but Tim still looks like he can go, and he said, I'm not coming here for a holiday, I'm here to win, but again, I'm going to have to go with Tucker's, and I think Steve's going to get it done. I think it's going to be pretty clinical. I'm thinking maybe even a 2nd round finish. Even maybe catches him with a knockout. I don't know if he has the power, but what I'm seeing from him is dialed in. What about you?
There you go, Bully. Well, as I said, I think unanimous decision victory for Steve Erceg. Look, let's go next fight down the line. Now, this hasn't been officially confirmed in terms of the order of the main event, but one of our very own, Bully, one of our favourites, one of the guys who really got us keen to get involved in this sport, we have got Marwan Rahiki, who's been added to this card over the past couple of weeks. He's taking on Ollie Schmid, who is a New Zealander out of City Kickboxing, very famous MMA gym. Obviously, likes of Stylebender have come through there. So, Ollie Schmid, first fight within the UFC. Marwan Rahiki's second fight within the UFC. Now, we want to focus on our boy Marwan because Bully and I, less than a year ago, we saw this guy fight in Flemington of Melbourne, of all places, at Hex, the Hex Fight Series promotion.
Shout out to Hex.
Yeah, shout out to our boys at Hex. We love it down there. There's an event coming up in a month's time, which everyone should get along to. But Marwan is an alumni. He's also an alumni of Eternal MMA, I should mention. But we saw him that night, and we sat there. It was our first Hex event, and we sat there watching him thinking, this can't be domestic scene level. Like, he is too good to be fighting in the 100%. Regional scene. Like, he's Dana White Contender Series level, if not UFC level already at that point.
He was insane. Like, the kicks he was throwing, the punches, like the fitness, the tank, he was just shredded. Like, he looks like a proper professional. None of this Mickey Mouse stuff. He was a serious fighter, and we were both taken aback. I remember looking at you. We were sitting ringside, and we were like, "Who is this guy? Like, is this Marwan?" Because he was incredible. So, yeah, I think Marwan's going to get the job done. He was going to fight our good mate, Jack Jenkins. Unfortunately, Jack had a bit of an issue at training. So, Jack, get well soon, mate. We can't wait to see you back. But, yeah, I think Marwan's going to get the job done, and I think it's going to be an epic knockout.
Yeah, look, without having done a heap of background on Ollie, this is going to be a tough matchup for anyone, Marwan. He is a featherweight who looks like he has got serious potential to rise up the rankings. This fight was meant to be scheduled against Jack Jenkins. Bully and I actually sat down with Jack about 3 weeks ago for an interview before this fight had officially been announced, but it was secured in. Jack had an injury a couple of days later, which is why we actually didn't end up releasing the episode out of respect to Jack. And, that was going to be a fight where we didn't want to see either of those guys lose because we love them both. So, with Jack being out, we're going to go Marwan. The odds haven't been released for this fight just as of yet, but please keep your eye out for Marwan Rahiki, everyone. He's certainly one to watch. We're going to go one more fight down the line, Bally. We've got two more to go. We've got Shamil Gaziev taking on your boy, Brando Pericic. We've got two heavyweights. Massive power between the two of them. Stylistically, it's going to be a classic heavyweight fight where whoever can swing first, we'd like to think that it's going to be an exciting fight and that we're going to get a finish, but you never know, Bally, in the heavyweight division. Have you got the odds there for us?
Yes, I do have the odds. My boy, the dominant decision, $1.71, so very short favourite. And boy, like, looking at the man, he's powerful, he's aggressive, and as he said to me, mate, I ain't coming for no decision. It's going to be a fucking knockout. So I think he gets it done, even first round. Obviously, Shamil, $2.15, some chance, but I just think my boy, the dominant decision, is going to get it done.
So you're going KO. You're going against your own word again, boy. You're going for a spectacular KO for Brando.
Well, I want him to win by a very, very, very powerful decision. But the man's a beast. The question I asked was just to try and ravel him up and get him excited. It was a bit of a bait question, to be honest, Tuckers.
Yeah, it also fell very flat. But look, I am, in the spirit of things, I'm going to go Brando Pericic in a dominant decision, unanimous decision victory. However the fight plays out, if he comes away with unanimous decision, Bully, that's claims for dominant decision.
Fuck it. You heard it now. I'm also going a decision, and I'll tell you what, if it is a decision, me and Tuckers are going to be in that press conference after the fight, and I'm going to be saying, Brando, I told you it'd be a dominant decision.
Let's move one more fight down the line. We've got one more to go, guys. We've got Tai Tuivasa taking on Louis Sutherland. Another heavyweight matchup, which, again, is guaranteed to be fun. Tai, we all know Tai's story. Great Australian combat sports artist. UFC veteran. Been around for a long time now. Western Sydney's own. He is coming off a 6-fight losing streak, but I think that's not going to stop him from getting the crowd up and about. Clearly, he's going to have a lot of support. Anytime you go and watch this this guy. He's box office, and the crowd just loves him. I went and saw him in Sydney a couple months ago when he took on Taliesin Teixeira. It was a bit of a nothing fight.
We didn't fight that one.
We didn't see a lot come of it.
It looked like two fat dads at the pub having a fight.
Yeah, a bit like a Man U footballer. But look, he
I'm in slightly better condition.
He gave it everything, which we love about Ty, and like you could see him chasing a victory, whereas Taliesin was running a little bit. I heard Volk talking about this today, and I thought it was a good point that it's only 3 months, not even. It's only 2.5 months since that fight took place. When would Tai Tuivasa have only had a 2.5 month gap between fights? He's obviously not been able to, in that time, I hope, let himself go and put on the weight like we know he's done before. He would have done back-to-back training camps. He should be sharp. He should be in good shape. If he had done back-to-back training camps going into that Taliesin fight, you would suspect, he could have come away and had that little bit of an edge to win that fight. So, again, Louis Sutherland, the vanilla gorilla out of the UK. I'm going to go Tai Tuivasa here to break the streak, or to break the drought, Bally. It's going to be a great feeling when we see him sitting on the edge of that cage doing a shoey. It's been too long, Bally.
We can't wait to see the shoey. And I'd also looking at the press conference, asking Ty questions. He did seem a bit upset with himself that he has blown out and he's got fat. And I think he's really motivated to try and get back into the heavyweight division and be in that top 5 again. I don't know if he's got the ability, but would love him back in there. As he said, he's good on the lip. He loves to fight, and he's going to go for a big knockout. So, unfortunately, again, it looks like me and Tuckers are lined up completely on the odds here, and I'm going to tip Big Ty as well, and it's going to be a KO. I think it's going to be round 2 because he doesn't have much in the gas after about round 2, so I think he's ready to finish.
All right, that's awesome, boy. And look, we are going to make a commitment. If Tai Tuivasa does win, regardless if it happens at 10 o'clock at night, Saturday night, whether it happens at 2 a.m., I hope I'm not up at 2 a.m. on Saturday night. We'll both be doing a shoey together. We'll get the content. We'll put it up on our socials. But in respect for the great man, we're both going to do a shoey, boy. I haven't told you about that, but we're doing it, all right?
I never say no to a shoey. And just for those of you wondering the odds as well, which we didn't mention,
yes.
Very short odds, $1.50 Ty. Get it done. We can't wait. And then we got big vanilla gorilla Louis Sutherland at $2.60. So incoming shoey for both me and Tuckers.
Yeah, that'll be fun, Bally. Especially, early flight Sunday morning, mate, going home after having done a shoey. That'll be great fun. But look, that's the main card, guys. That's what we're going to touch on at the moment. But there are so many good fighters fighting on this event in the prelims as well. You've got John O'Macaleb, you've got Colby Thicknessy, you've got Junior Tafa. I'm conscious I don't want to leave anyone out here, Bally, but there are so many good Aussies fighting on this event. It's going to be a stacked experience for us. Anything else you want to say to round out what we can expect for Saturday night?
Yeah, I think we're in for a cracking event. Obviously, hometown heroes. There's a big build-up to it. We all want JDM to get the win. And, me and Tuckers have such a great time here. We've still got so much going on. We've got the ceremonial weigh-ins. We've got the fight. We're even going to Eternal, so we're getting around that as well. We're both just so psyched for this event and looking forward to a big turnout for all the people in Perth here.
A couple more I just failed to mention is Don Marfan and Jacob Mulcoon, who are rounding, and also Cam Rouston, who are rounding out the quartet of Aussies who are fighting on this card. But look, we are going to leave it there, guys. It's getting late on Thursday evening. It's been a big week. We've both travelled across here to Perth. We couldn't be happy to be here. Tomorrow is another big day. We've got the traditional weigh-ins earlier in the day. Then we've got the ceremonial weigh-ins right here tomorrow night. Then Saturday is a full day. We will be here at RAC Arena from 4 p.m. We will be bringing you behind-the-scenes footage as much as we're allowed to. We'll be putting out there. Then again, guys, tune into the post-fight press conferences. We'll be asking questions, and we'll be doing all we can to make you feel like you've been there. But, Bally, thank you for all the effort you put in. It's been sick, and I can't wait to see what the next couple of days holds.
Here's to the podcast and for many more UFC events.
We will be here for many more. Thank you to the UFC for having us. Thank you to Perth, the RSC Arena. We will chat to you all soon.
Thanks, guys.